wind, and run-of-river. Channeling these renewable titans can help the country secure a 50% renewable energy share in power generation by 2040. That's what we do. We are Citicore Renewable Energy Corporation, or CREC, supporting the government in powering a first world Philippines through pure renewable energy. CREC has a growing presence in solar generation through 285 megawatts of gross installed capacity, and recently secured 61% of total auction quota for ground mount solar in the 2024 Philippine Green Energy Auction Program. This is part of a planned 5 gigawatts increase in 5 years, adding installed solar capacity in the short term, expanding to solar assets with battery storage, onshore wind and run-of-river in the medium term, and developing offshore wind projects in the long term. This is possible through in-house end-to-end development capabilities, strong adherence to regulations and governance, and partner communities that help plant seeds for education and livelihood. We are CREC, a Philippine-focused company channeling the renewable titans of solar, wind, and run-of-river to help secure energy resiliency for the country. Citicore Renewable Energy Corporation, powering a first-world Philippines with pure renewable energy.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Gail Peñaranda, Marketing Manager of MyTrade PH by Abacus Securities. And I am your host for today's much-awaited event. Burr months have officially started, and we were welcomed by it with a slightly higher index at the start of the month. The market saw more gainers than losers the past weeks, and of course, we know that September effect, where many traders believe that there is either an uptick in economic activities or this is the weakest month of the year. So what do you guys think about this? You feel free to share your sentiments in the comment section below or give us a thumbs up if you are feeling the positivity in the coming weeks and the festivities of the Burr months. Can we check the comment section? Okay, we see Sir Nelson Milyar. Good afternoon. Good afternoon po, Sir Nelson. Welcome to Wink. I see a heart from Sir Ion De Villa. Good afternoon, Sir Ion. Okay, I think everyone's excited for the guest company for today because you saw the video earlier, their commercial video, and we're very excited on what they will be talking about regarding their past reviews or their upcoming projects. And we sure do, you're also excited as well. I see a lot of people coming in. All right. Okay, so for our new viewers, welcome to Wink. Wink stands for What Investors Need to Know, where we tackle different stock market matters. For example, we do quarter reviews with a guest company, and we do recent updates or projects with them. So anything about the guest company you can ask in the comment section, and then later on we will have a question and answer portion where our guest speaker will personally answer all your questions. So if you need help in your portfolios, or if you feel like you sure want to invest in the specific company, you may do so, ask your questions, or do the clarifications in the comment section below. So before we introduce our guest speaker, I would like to bring my co-host and moderator up on stage. He is Abacus Securities investment analyst who covers the consumer and logistics sectors. He earned a degree in AB Management Economics, minor in Financial Management from the Ateneo de Manila University in 2017. He was also a former corporate audit associate of one of the airlines in the Philippines, and I'm sure everyone knows him and always see him in Beyond Connections, our bi-weekly live session here at MyTrade PH. Do you have any wild guests who our co-host and moderator will be? Wala yata yung mga fans dito nung ano natin, co-host and moderator. So, okay, let's all welcome Rainier Yu.
Hi,
Hi,
Gail.
Rainier.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Hello, how are you? So, are you excited with our guest speaker or guest company today?
Yes, of course. Thank you again. Thank you, Gail, for the invite and moderating this event to our special guest today. And I hope everyone is having a great day and great afternoon, especially given the market that we have recently. It's something that I think not many has expected to be this quick. Uh,
Yeah.
we've we haven't
I know
we
everyone has been
didn't really
hoping for
foresee
it to happen.
any significant run ups over the past week. So really a pleasant surprise to everyone.
Mhm.
Para maaga yung Pasko natin, Gail.
I know. And I feel like everyone has been hoping for it for a long time, and finally it's here. Hopefully, if it goes well up to whenever. So, okay, before we invite our guest speaker up on stage, I just want to share that we actually did a podcast with them last month. So, if you follow our Spotify account, MyTrade Unplugged, you already know who our guest company is, and we will also post the link in the comment section below so you can listen to our most recent episode. Were you able to listen to the podcast, Barinier?
Yes, of
What do
course.
you think
And
about it?
well, it's very insightful naman, informative, and really gives more perspective when it comes to, I guess, putting up a company like sige. I'll give it back to you, Gail, so I wouldn't spill any surprises.
Okay, sige. Now let's not keep our audience waiting and get our dear guest up on stage. Apart from being a director at CREC, she currently serves as the Chief Investor Relations and Corporate Communications and Branding Officer. She's also a director of Citicore Fund Managers Inc., President and Director of Citicore Property Managers Incorporated. So, without further ado, we have Miss Joan Cosico. Everyone, please give a round of applause for Miss Joan of CREC. Hello, Miss Joan.
Hi, Gail. Good to see you. And hi, Rainier, my fellow True Blue schoolmate.
Yeah,
But of course, good afternoon to all our viewers and watchers and fans of My Trade, and of course, friends of our Abacus Securities. Now, thank you for spending your afternoon with us today.
Thank you also, Miss Joanne. And I just want to say advance congratulations on being recognized and joining the Circle of Excellence as one of the technology companies of the year at Asia CEO Awards 2024. So
Oh,
congratulations on that.
thank
I think
you.
it's in October pa, pero congratulations na rin.
An honor itself to be part of such esteemed companies, no? So even if we don't know who the actual winner is, just to be
Mhm.
part of that circle of excellence is an achievement for a young company such as Citicore Renewable. So thank you for your support and for everyone's continued trust and confidence in the company.
Okay, so we won't take much of your time anymore. We'll give the floor to you, Miss Joanne, and we'll see you at the Q&A later.
All right. Thank you so much. And again, good afternoon to all of my trade investors who are dialed in. Thank you for joining us today for our Citicore Renewable Energy Corporation's company presentation. Again, my name is Joan Cosico. I am CREC's Investor Relations Officer, and I'll take you through the company presentation with financial highlights for the first 6 months of the year. Flashed on your screen is our standard disclaimer on our presentation materials. Today's agenda will be as follows. First, an introduction to CREC, followed by CREC's asset portfolio, some updates on pipeline projects, performance highlights for the first half of 2024, and some key takeaways, and of course, finishing off the afternoon with a Q&A session. I will now start the company presentation with an overview of the group. Citicore Holdings Investment Company serves as the conglomerate behind the engineering and infrastructure giant Megawide Construction Corporation. Megawide, as you know, is a listed company in the Philippine Stock Exchange since 2011 and has been an active participant in the government's infrastructure tenders, either as a pure contractor or as a contractor and operator of concession assets. Its business verticals include the second largest Philippine airport, the country's first land port, public market redevelopment, as well as residential real estate development. On the right-hand side, you will see that CHII's power and utility arm is under Citicore Power, with Citicore Renewable Energy Corporation, or CREC, as the developer and operator of various renewable energy platforms. CREC also serves as the sponsor of the country's first renewable energy REIT, which is Citicore Energy REIT, or C-REIT for short, which was listed in the PSE last February 22. Later on in the succeeding slides, we'll discuss about the various renewable energy platforms that is under CREC that will increase our capacity by 5 gigawatts in the next 5 years. The next section of the company presentation will be a summary of performance highlights for the first half of 2024. Starting with CREC's first half 2024 revenues, this stood at 2.087 billion, or a 13% increase from the same period last year. This was largely driven by strong electricity sales, which jumped 15% from 1.504 billion to 1.732 billion. Second, CREC has a solid financial position with a successful IPO and equity raise from the C-REIT shares sold to SM Investment Corporation. Citicore's strength in its vertical integration comes from its engineering DNA from its Megawide roots. This enables the company to have a solid track record for greenfield development as well as O&M capabilities for existing plants. Lastly, construction is in full swing for our first gigawatt pipeline, and we'll show you some pictures later on. On this slide, you will see a very momentous occasion last June 7, 2024, wherein the group has listed successfully its third IPO at the Philippine Stock Exchange. Receiving a warm reception from both local and international investors, CREC completed its offering of 1.79 billion common shares with a 10% over-allotment option of up to 178.57 million secondary common shares at the price of 2.70 per share. So for those of you that invested and believed in us on day one, big clap to all of you. The company raised 5.3 billion, or an equivalent of 93 million US dollars, including the over-allotment option. The strong international support received by CREC includes an investment from Mobilist, an initiative by the British Investment Partnership to deliver assistance to support infrastructure development and green transmission in the Philippines and Southeast Asia. The Mobilist Fund made an investment, its first made an investment in the Philippines of $12.5 million, or 731 million pesos, in our CREC IPO. This is equivalent to about 13% of the total IPO proceeds or amount. So we're quite happy and grateful for that. This brings CREC total shares listed in the Philippine Stock Exchange to 8.93 billion common shares, with its IPO representing 22% of CREC's total outstanding shares. And at the time of listing, a market capitalization of 24.11 billion. Okay. Now moving on to the discussion on CREC's current asset portfolio. The current CREC portfolio consists of 285 megawatts of gross installed solar capacity with a total of 10.4 gigawatts of pipeline projects planned over the next couple of years. Over the short term, approximately 2.3 gigawatt of new capacity will be added and energized. This will be followed by another 5 gigawatts of new capacity to be added over the medium term and a balance of 3.1 gigawatt for additional capacity over the long term. So in terms of renewable energy technology breakdown, CREC portfolio primarily consists of ground-mounted solar. Solar being the low-hanging fruit and fastest to roll out. However, over time, we shall diversify into onshore wind and run-of-river hydro. These solar, wind, and hydro platforms shall also be complemented with energy storage system for the company to achieve a close to base load-like generation output and a portfolio level that expands our market reach to include night peak, mid-merit, and baseload customers. The next slide shows you some pictures of our 10 operating assets. These plants are geographically spread nationwide with 7 plants in Luzon, 2 in Visayas, and 1 in Mindanao. So we're all over the Philippines, no? And then the next slide will show you CREC's under construction assets, which currently consists of 8 solar assets and 1 hydro project. This is the run-of-river project, no? And total combined gross capacity of 1.609 gigawatt. Later on, we'll be showing you some pictures of the projects that are under construction. You might ask, how are we able to do all this? Citicore's strength lies in its full vertical integration from pre-development and land acquisition and securing regulatory permits, construction execution backed by an engineering DNA from its mega-wide roots, and of course, O&M with the use of real-time computer systems that monitors plant availability and asset management. At this point, we'll take you through our various projects and show you some project pictures. This one shows our Tuy Batangas project, we call Batangas 1, with 280 megawatts. The next slide will be Batangas 2 with about 250 megawatts. Zooming over North Luzon, this is Pangasinan 1 with 240 megawatts, followed by Pangasinan 2, which will have 270 megawatts. Moving on to nearby province Pampanga, what we call Pampanga 3, this will have 60 megawatts. And zooming back to South Luzon, Quezon 1 has 293 megawatts, and and zooming to the Visayas this time via plane, of course, is Negros 2 with 100 megawatts. So we'll also give you some of our project locations for our onshore wind projects. So from solar to wind this time. So we have 4 onshore wind projects that are currently under advanced development. So these are located in Pangasinan, Bataan, Zambales, also in the Visayas region, Iloilo, and Camarines Sur or Cam Sur for those of you that frequent that side of town. Next, we'll show you some construction updates on our run-of-river hydro project. This is a 25 megawatt plant that is currently underway. No? So it's a run-of-river technology. Now moving on to the serious stuff, of course. We'll have a discussion on some of the financial highlights for the first half of 2024. CREC's first half 2024 revenues showed an increase, as mentioned earlier, from 1.8 billion to 2.1 billion. The company's revenue stream is composed of electricity sales, lease income, and service fees. We'll provide additional breakdown in the next couple of slides. CREC's EBITDA registered at 765 million, 6% higher than last year's 723 million. This tempered growth is a result of the decrease in share of net income in a joint venture. Net income stood at 456 million, slightly higher than last year's 455 million. From higher revenue and EBITDA, a compressed net income was due to the higher interest rates brought about by the repriced interest rates from a CREC loan starting the second half of 2023. So obviously this was absent in the first half of 2023 and is present in our numbers for the first 6 months. This likewise reduced the share in the net income of the JV. However, we expect that this will normalize before the year ends since we are currently in the process of refinancing the said loan of this joint venture company. The next slide will show a chart that shows the breakdown of revenue type and period performance. As mentioned earlier, the 13% jump in revenues was largely driven by a 15% jump in electricity sales, which actually accounts for bulk of the revenues at 83%. Lease income coming from the legacy plants Toledo and Silay was steady at 325 million. Service fees jumped 20%, albeit a very, very small component, increasing from 24 million to 29 million pesos. On your right-hand side is a breakdown of the electricity sales mix. As it composes 83% of our revenues. Electricity sales to direct and contestable customers carries the lion's share of the mix at 77%. This increased 11% from 974 million last year to 1.1 billion this year. Again, this is driven by higher renewal rates of existing customers and the full 6-month period impact in the increase of customers of our retail electricity supply arm called CESI. The government's feed-in tariff program accounts for 19% of the total energy sales. Currently, we have 3 feed-in tariff plants. These are Clark, South Cotabato, and Bulacan. From 248 million revenues last year, our FIT plants delivered 272 million as of June 30, or an increase of 9%, coming from higher generation output. Sales to merchant or WESM, which accounts for about 4%, likewise increased by 118% from 26 million pesos last year to 58 million pesos this year, and jumping from a 2% share contribution to 4% contribution to total revenues this year, largely due to the higher and elevated WESM prices. Moving on to some key ratios, starting with profitability ratios based on the first 6 months' performance. Gross profit margin increased from 31% to 33%, brought about by a stronger double-digit revenue. EBITDA margin stood at 37%, a little lower than last year's 39% due to the decrease in net income from the joint venture company. Net income margin ended at 22% for the period due to the previously mentioned finance costs. Moving on to some balance sheet highlights, total assets increased by 75% from 22 billion last year, December 2023, to 39 billion as of June 30. Our total current assets increased by 115%, or 8.8 billion, due to increase in cash and cash equivalents of 438%, or 10 billion. These are coming from the unutilized proceeds of the IPO as of cutoff, and some various loan availment by the SPVs for the construction of their respective solar plants. Total non-current assets increased by 54% or 7.9 billion, coming from an increase in the plant, property, and equipment segment due to construction progress already making it on the sites. Total liabilities increased by 52% or 7.1 billion, mainly due to the increase in trade and other payables, as well as dividend payables due to timing issues, of course, and loans payable for both current and non-current due to various availments of the SPVs in relation to the construction of the solar plants. Moving on to some financial ratios, starting off with some gearing ratios. Current ratio, which is the company's ability to meet short-term liabilities as it becomes due, increased or improved to 8.78% from last year's 5.86 times, mainly due to the increase in cash and cash equivalents. Interest coverage ratio, or the indicator on how easily a company can pay interest on its outstanding debt, slightly moved from 3.84 times last year to 3.41 times this year due to the increase in finance cost, but still very much in good levels. Debt to equity ratio improved to 1.02 times from 1.14 times due to the increase in equity. And net debt to equity likewise improved from 0.86 times to 0.31 times due to the increase in both cash and cash equivalents, as well as the increase in equity. For the market ratios, we look at earnings per share, which is slightly down from 0.05 pesos per share to 0.0 pesos per share due to the decrease in net income attributable to parent and increase in weighted average outstanding shares as a result of the recent IPO. Book value per share is up to 1.89 pesos per share, coming from 1 peso per share due to the increase in total equity of the parent company. Price to book stands at 1.42 times, mainly a function of the movements in book value and share price. PE ratio, which is currently at 32 times as of June 30, closing share price of 2.69 per share. We expect this to change as the solar plants that are currently under construction are energized sometime at the end of the year. At this point, we'll line up the key takeaways for your reference again. So, we mentioned earlier strong revenue growth driven by electricity sales. We expect this to continue in the second half of the year. We have a solid financial position with the recent equity raise. And of course, our vertical integrated platform allows us to complete projects on time and on spec. And lastly, the construction for our first gigawatt of solar assets are in full swing across 8 projects in various stages of development. At this point, we're happy to share with you that CREC also has been awarded by Finance Asia as the best renewable energy in Asia, besting other renewable energy players in the region. We are grateful to all of you that have participated in this poll. And thank you also for the support for those that have read about the company. Now we'll go back to Gail and Rainier for the Q&A.
Hi, Ms. Joan. Thank you again for the presentation. It was a very insightful and informative yet again. And I hope our viewers were able to digest some of the information because, again, medyo mahirap and medyo madami yung
Number overload. I'm so sorry for that. But you get the picture, right? There's 10 operating plants. We're building 1,000 megawatts across 8 projects. So basically, our revenues could multiply by 3 times as soon as these are energized.
Yes, and just for everybody's reference, since the IPO a few months ago, I think CREC has been up close to 20%. And it just goes to show not only of CREC's capabilities, but also to the quality of the projects that we are currently seeing and are set to be online soon. And again, reflected as well in some of the awards that have been awarded, that have been received from your end. And again, congratulations, Ms. Joan, and to the team as well. So
Rainier, of course, this is not possible without our investors who are buying and continuously accumulating our shares. No? So we're grateful that they believe our story, um, our mission to provide green energy solutions to the country. And we hope that they continue this journey with us over the next 5 years.
and thank you again for that, Ms. Joan. And we are seeing a lot of questions in the Q&A. I hope you're ready, Miss Joan. Do you want
Let's
to
go.
have a water break
This is the exciting part. We're done with the boring part.
first? Okay. Let's start with this since we talked about the IPO. This is from Kate, one of our viewers. From the company's IPO, what has changed for CREC and what are your plans for the investors moving forward?
Thanks for your question, Kate. I think what has primarily changed is our velocity for ramping up our projects. As you know, when we started our construction for the first 1,000 megawatts or the 8 projects that we are currently constructing, this has secured funding already. The IPO provided additional fuel to power us through the second 1,000 megawatts that we intend to start construction this year as well. So I think that has changed. We are still quite dead set with our 5 gigawatts in 5 years. So very easy for everybody to memorize or to understand that CREC is keen on adding 5 gigawatts of additional capacity over the next 5 years.
Okay, thank you for that, Ms. Joanne. And just something from my end, since our viewers are talking about the IPO, and one of the highlights before was the company received funding from the UK government. And was it a surprise that CREC got that type of investment since I think it's their first venture into the Philippines?
Yeah, of course, we're grateful to the Philippine Stock Exchange that basically introduced us to Mobilis, no? And we're quite amazed that their first investment in the Philippines happened to be us, no? But essentially, Mobilis is a fund by the Philippine government that has really focus on renewable energy or green initiatives, no? And it was quite surprising that they did all the due diligence. We met with them. We just like any other anchor investor. So we presented our investor relations deck and explained to them what we intended to do. And what was comforting to know is that um, what was surprising actually was they invested in a very big way because their last investment in the region was in Thailand, if I recall correctly. And the amount that they put in our IPO was bigger than the Thailand IPO. So yay, go Philippines, diba? So, and of course, having Mobilist as an anchor investor opened doors for us. We have been getting a lot of investor meeting requests, especially for foreign funds that are essentially mandated to invest in ESG themed equities. No? So I think that we Citicore Renewables is in a very bright spot and represents the Philippines as far as renewable energy transition or the pure renewable energy play is concerned.
Okay. And I guess for the industry as a whole in the Philippines, do you think I think it's been highlighted by some of the companies as well? How does the Philippines rank in terms of the solar energy or the capabilities of solar development, since we're near the equator, mas malakas yung araw dito. So, is it really, do you think the Philippines is really one of the best destinations for solar development?
I'd say we have the best of both worlds. Parang we're in the middle of the equator, and at the same time, we're spread out. So all of the plants that we have built over the past almost 10 years have been in locations where there is high irradiation. So, dito po yung matingkad yung araw. So, naman when you go to the beach, Batangas, di ba, mainit talaga. So, tamang-tama yung solar plant natin dyan. And the nice thing about our location is that we span Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. So even if, for example, we experience some typhoon systems, for example, in upper North Luzon, ganyan, the rest of the plants may operate at very good capacity pa din. So I think that's one of the things. And also, plug ko na rin, when we think about where the Philippines is located, we also have an abundance or a very strong wind currents, no? So that is why companies are looking at putting up onshore wind as well. So we really are quite blessed with natural resources. And this is an important point to make. Our Citicore is just one of the companies that would like to help the Philippines and the Philippine government, for that matter, as we sort of have an energy transition shift and decrease our reliance on imported fuel, diba? Kasi we don't have naman oil in our country, diba? So, but we have a lot of sunshine. We have very good wind current systems, and we can harness all these natural resources and um, have renewable energy sources. Yeah.
Okay. So, well, it's something for us, the consumers, to be thankful to Citicore, since you are pioneering the shift into sustainable energy and basically the energy transition. Uh, since you mentioned that, I saw one interesting question that came up. So sorry, jumping some of the questions. So, is there a possibility that the Maharlika Investment Fund will invest in CREC because they said they want to invest in renewable energy?
Thanks, Ian, for that question. Of course, we'd be more than happy. No, I think sovereign wealth funds are always a good barometer for trust and confidence if they do decide to invest in public equities, such as CREC. No, but having said that, I think also we've read some news articles that they are also looking at possibly investing in the national grid or other infrastructure support to help propagate renewable energy. So I think either way, we win, or the entire, this is for the benefit of everyone trying to ease our reliance on imported fuel.
Okay, thank you for the question, Sir Ian. Next, since we're on that topic still, so any plans for the company to raise more capital?
Thanks, Luis, for your question. Not as of the moment. We are fresh from the IPO. I'm sure a lot of the investors are quite happy with the run that we've experienced, and hopefully the general overall market and the index will continue to breach and surprise us all. I think for capital raising, we can also explore. We normally have project financing, no, as part of the SPVs, or the operating companies that are developing and eventually operating the plant. So that in itself is a form of capital raising, but it's part of our business as usual. But in terms of equity raising, I'd say maybe not in the next 12 or 20, even 24 months.
Okay, so just a follow up, Ms. Joanne, since we have seen some of the big names venturing into renewable energy and even partnering with Citicore, so we have the likes of SMC and SMIC. So, are there plans to increase the exposure into partnering with other companies?
That's one of the nice things about our management and our founder and chairman. We're always open to partnerships, whether it be local. Our Arayat plant is actually a joint venture together with AC Energy. So it is still currently, I think, the largest in North Luzon as of the moment. Maybe not for long, because we're building a bit more in that location, in that area. We also have a recent joint venture with San Miguel Global Power, and yeah, we're always open to partnering with industry best companies, because we feel that there is a good marriage that comes of it. If when we partner, basically it's a win-win situation for both parties involved. So always open.
Okay, but I guess for now, most of the projects that are in the pipeline will be fully owned or wholly owned by Citicorp.
Yes. Yes, good point, Rainier. Thank you. The 8 projects that are currently under construction are all 100% owned by Citicore Renewable Energy Corporation.
Okay, thank you for the clarification. Moving on, next question from Cadiz. Will the company go for more government projects?
Um, Not sure, Cadis. I'm not sure what exactly your question what context your question is, but technically we have been recently certified as significant projects with significant national presence. So these are 13 projects that have been certified to be important as part of the government's energy transition plan. No? The DOE, as you know, has um, set out a very clear direction to try and increase our supply coming from renewable energy to 50% by 2040. Currently, we're just about 22%. No? So year after year, through the JAP as an attractive auction activity or supply offtake, we are developers and operators of renewable energy platforms are encouraged to participate. So that in itself is um, partly like government project, but really more on the private sector. Um, yeah.
Okay. And next, I think this is one question that would be better addressed by you, Ms. Joanne. Why is there lease income in CREC? Shouldn't that be in CREIT?
Yes. So thank you for the question, EJ, and hello there as well. The lease income that are in CREC are pertaining to Toledo and Silay plants, which are technically the asset is outside of the CREIT. The operating plant is outside of CREIT. So yun. So it's everything else is in CREIT, and including land assets as well as solar panel assets, but with the exception of those two, which were the earlier plants that were built. No? Moving forward, all of the solar plants will be housed or are currently housed under CREC.
Okay. Oh, I hope that was clear enough for you, EJ. And I think moving on to some of the questions here, are there any risks that the company solar projects are built on? And I think this is indigenous people lands or land supposedly used for agriculture.
Very important question, Lisette. Thanks for asking that. Citicore is very mindful of acquiring land that is not used or that is not classified as agricultural use. The government does not allow us to purchase these lands for any other intended use except agriculture. Having said that, there are agricultural lands that have been idle for so many years and are not within the national irrigation area. No? So these are lands that have been idle or not used for any agriculture purposes, and this is allowed to be converted into industrial use, no? Specific for solar plants. Having said that, we're also very mindful of our community. No, when we look at areas wherein, of course, there's always a technical assessment where to locate our plants. We're very particular not to displace members of our community. In fact, um, Citicore has pioneered agrosolar, wherein we um, allow the farmers within the adjacent communities of our solar plant to plant cabbage, eggplant, chili, and all sorts of vegetables, no, that will provide income augmentation to these farmers that have not been farming for quite a while, no. So we give to them 50% of the the proceeds from the sale of the harvest, and the other 50% we use to buy new seeds to be planted again in the next cycle. So we always believe that it should be non-disruptive wherever we are. We are very we work together with the communities that are located around our solar plants, as well as provide um, employment opportunities during the construction period. No, so we normally hire locals to help us build our solar plants. Thank you.
Out of curiosity, Miss Joanne, how long does it take for Citicorp to be able to determine and basically buy out a land that would be used for a project?
Because we've done the initial mapping of the entire Philippines, we have in our vision board basically the specific areas where we think are very high irradiation, not prone to flooding, not near any volcano, or not near any mountainous region to avoid shadowing. No? So that's the technical side of it. Once that has been identified, the actual sourcing of the land, the procurement, the identification, the acquisition, the conversion, up to the point where the project becomes ready to build takes about 12 months. From there, from the ready to build stage, we can do it as fast as 9 months to 12 months to complete the project and start the energization process. No, so all in all, from start to finish, it's about 18 to 24 months, and that's where the mega-wide DNA comes into the picture. No, kasi while most companies may have to outsource their engineering and construction, for us, we have a dedicated team that does all that for us. No, so it's an in-house strength that we have.
Yes, I was just about to say, Miss Joanne, parang ang bilis nung 18 to 24 months compared to what we normally hear.
Every year naman, we've built more complex structures like Megawide is doing the subway and the Malolos Clark Railway. So that's really like, super complex infrastructure projects. And this one, you just have to put the mounting structure and then put the PV panels. Pero syempre, not naman to simplify. Syempre, it also has some skills, no? But less complex than maybe building Manila's first subway. Yeah, so
Yes. Well, we have a question here. I think no, in line with that, Ms. Joanne. So, how do we make sure solar plants are weatherproof? Number of strong typhoons hitting the Philippines is increasing. How do we make sure our plants are safe and weatherproof?
nako, very timely question. Who's this? Raymond. Given that we're in the typhoon season, di ba? Um, Basically there's really no weatherproofing everything, because we're reliant on the grace of the sun to shine down upon us, no, and then we convert sunlight into energy. Having said that, we have particularly diversified our location between Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. We've thought about it, and there won't, hopefully not, be a time wherein the entire Philippines is consumed by a massive typhoon, no? So spanning both all three main islands, Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. Having said that, the last major typhoon system that we had that hit the Visayas region, in fact, I think this was, if my memory serves me right, 2020, sometime in 2022, Typhoon Odette. Our We only suffered 2% of panel damage. So 2% is non life threatening for our revenue stream. But having said that, also, um, we do understand that the Philippines is generally in a natural calamity location. We have insurance coverage for any property damage caused about natural calamities. No, we also have insurance in case there is a business interruption. So that's part of our contingency planning. So we have all these insurance policies in place to protect us from any uncontrollable situations.
And Ms. Joanne, is there, I guess, in relation to that, how fast would it be to replace that 2% uh, for it to return back to 100%?
Replacing the panel is not an issue because you always keep some replacement supply. And of course, plug ko na rin. Our operations and maintenance team are top class. They have computerized monitoring system that tells them at any point of the day which specific panel in a massive solar farm which is not functioning properly. So automatically they'll know which panel needs to be checked, needs to be rewired or something like that. So we're very big on data analytics and making sure that everything is digitalized so that our response is quite fast. So panel replacement, not an issue because we have panel quantities on site to be on standby just in case there are natural wear and tear of any PV panels. Having said that, the life of these panels are quite long. Some panels go up to 30 years, no, but what we're saying is that these panels are good for the next 20 to 25 years.
Okay. And we have a comment here. I think our viewers appreciate the dynamic duo of Citicore and Megawide synergies.
It's a good collab, right?
Yes.
Engineering expertise and um, pure renewable energy focus, and marrying this together, powerhouse. Thank you for that, Alden.
Okay, Ms. John, I think we only have time for one last question, and let's end with this. From Julius Manalo, will all the projects be able to connect to the grid?
Hi, Julius. Thanks for the question. Yes, the Philippines, compared to our regional peers, we operate. I mean, there is a national grid that connects all of our islands, no, Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. So we're quite fortunate, and we also take particular attention to the location of the land where we acquire for future solar plants. We typically acquire land that are quite near or in proximity to the tapping points of the national grid, so that these substations provide us with connection points for solar plants. So where some companies may opt to do microgrids or those that service a particular catchment, no. But for us, our current projects that are under construction have grid identified grid connections, and we are looking forward to that as well.
Okay. I think that's all the time we have, Miss Joanne. And again, we thank you for the time that you spent with us today. And I hope our viewers were able to catch a lot of what you mentioned. And thank you for promoting again the company. And probably, I guess, one last question from me, Miss Joanne. Since we do see a lot of renewable energy companies listing today. And I guess just to provide some insights to our viewers, basically for CREC, what is its competitive edge over its peers?
Okay. Um, you saved the last question for the best. Um, our answer is that we have the track record in building greenfield or new plants from scratch. Other companies may have to outsource. We do it in house. We also have an in house operations and maintenance team that can operate and has the track record of operating almost 8 years of very good plant reliability. So we have the track record to build, we have the track record to operate, and we also have the track record to sell. No, we have been an active participant of the government's green energy auction program for ground-mounted solar as well as onshore wind. But more than that, I think our in-house sales team also services over 200 commercial and industrial customers that have big names, and then some of them are multinational companies at that. No, so I guess that's the secret sauce.
Okay, thank you for that, Miss John. And well, I guess on my end as an analyst, we do appreciate the company's efforts in providing sessions like these. And especially, I want to point out one thing that I think it's one of the issues that we see so far in renewable energy companies, that we don't see basically what's happening to the projects ever since it's announced. And Citicore pretty much addressed that issue or problem for some, that the company provides monthly updates or even weekly updates to their websites. Uh,
Yeah. And
Ms. John,
I think that's a key strength also for us. Thank you for pointing that out. We want to be able to share to our investors and shareholders where our projects are located, because these are real and live projects that are currently under construction. No? So you'll see construction progress posted on our website, because we believe that our claim of 1,000 megawatts per year can only be believable if we show the proof of what we're actually doing. So let the project speak for itself. We're very transparent, and we'll see. End of the year, by next year, the revenue or the company's financials will be a living proof of what we are doing for the first 1,000 megawatts. So yeah.
thank
Thank you
you.
for that again, Ms. Joanne. I really love the transparency from the numbers to the how you are as a company. So again, from the podcast that we've mentioned earlier, kitang-kita mo how CREC is ever since they publicly listed on PSE. So thank you so much again, Ms. Joanne, for that informative session with us today at Wing.
Thank you. Thank you for having us. And thank you to Abacus for giving companies such as CREC a platform to share our story with investors. So I think this is a very, very efficient way of reaching out to individual investors and allowing them to hear from us what we are doing, what we're all about, and what our goals are, so that they'll have a better understanding of how the company is doing.
Exactly. Thank you again, Miss Joanne.
Thank you so much to everybody who joined. See you again soon, hopefully.
Yes. All right. We would like to thank everyone for attending today, and we hope all your questions have been answered. For those questions na hindi natin nasagot, we'll try our best to get back to you. We'll just reply on the questions or the comments later on after the event. But so Rainier, what is a MyTrade event without a raffle? Alam mo yan. So once again, we're here today as your hosts, and we would love to give out MyTrade merchandise to all our viewers and clients who are watching or tuning with us today. Can we please put the roulette up on stage? We will be giving five packages or five loot bags to the winners. So if you have registered early on, you have a chance to win a package of notepad, pen, mobile stand, and coaster. So we have five winners. Are you ready? Give me a thumbs up if you are ready on the comment section.
Ano yun, Gail? If nanalo yung isa, kuha lahat yun, yung apat na yun?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
So ganun ka generous because since we haven't done an event for like a few months na. So okay, we'll just give it to them. And we only have five winners today, unlike before. So sige, bigay natin sa kanila. So if you have registered early on, earlier with using the link on our social posts, you have a chance to win today. All right, for our first winner, we have. So if you see your name, don't forget to screenshot the page or the screen now. Send us a message with your client code, contact number, and full name. Congratulations, Sir Jude Keith Escritor. You are our first winner for today's raffle game.
Congratulations, Sir Jude. So if please screenshot that, then feel free to contact our MyTrade page through Facebook to claim your prize.
I can see a comment from Miss Nelia Delight. Sabi niya meron pala. Maybe she was waiting for the for the giveaway session with us today. So ito na, Miss Nelia. Next, fingers crossed na manalo. Who's our next winner of the loot bag or package, My Trade PH package?
Okay,
We have
congratulations to Antafalia. So again, please screenshot this name, this segment. If hindi mo na screenshot, balikan mo na lang. Okay, congratulations, Antafalia.
Don't forget to send us a message with your client code if you are already a MyTrade client, or send us your full name and contact number. Third winner, can we please roll? Tingnan natin kung sino ang next winner. We have Miss or Mr. Riz Vincent Navarro. Congratulations, Sir or Miss Riz. Please don't forget to send us a message with your full name, contact number, and then screenshot of this segment. Congratulations again. Now, down to our last two winners of the raffle game today. Again, you will win a notebook and pen, mobile stand, and coaster.
Okay, congratulations, Mr. Manuel Pontiveros. You win. Sorry, nalimutan ko na, Gail. Ano ulit na palanunan nila?
We have notebook and pen, we have a coaster, and a mobile stand. Very handy. So, nililista na nila kung ano yung naganap sa CREC today. and possibly, in the future, kung ano yung magiging portfolio nila. So, down to our last winner for today's raffle game. We have, let's see, who's our last winner? We have Miss Ebby Jane Quijano. Congratulations. Don't forget to screenshot, send us a message with your full name and contact number, Miss Ebby Jane Quijano. Congratulations again to our all winners. And don't forget to send us a message. Sabi ni Miss Anne, yehey nanalo din. That can Yan. Yes, congratulations. Send us a message with your full name and contact number so that we'll be able to send you the packages as soon as possible. So thank you to our registrants, and don't forget to tune in our next event. Actually, tomorrow we have our bi-weekly live session with the research team of Abacus Securities. So at 3:30 tomorrow, don't forget to tune in on our social media channels to be able to listen to the recent updates of the stock market. Once again, this is Gail Peñaranda, your host for today's Wink Live.
And thank you again for everyone for spending your afternoon with us. I'm Rainier, and see you again tomorrow.
See you. Be a MyTrade client by signing up at start.mytrade.com.ph, and we will catch you on our social media channels. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and have a better tomorrow with MyTrade PH. See you again next time.